We didn't lose anybody.
Starting an hour late.
I am mildly. I got to be more prepared. This week was, like I said, it just seemed like every time I was like yesterday, um, something came up and Sappy needed to go get something. So I was like, that took like 2.5 hours of my night, and then tonight was Zoe. So I let myself get sidetracked, I think.
It's all right. Life gets in the way. Plus, not to mention, isn't this like the first like real week of school?
Yeah, and it's just I got to get my stamina back. For my teacher stamina is is not the best.
Hmm.
That's just you get lazy over the summer, and yeah, I have to get the because I'm getting up like, and Zoe keeps calling me, which is wonderful. So if she's listening, I hope she doesn't think, but she'll call or text very late at night, which is I love to hear from her, but my brain is still like not into like getting a nap, so I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I realized I didn't even share a Google document, which I was going to do. So I was bad this week. I'm looking at my notepad. It's really good to write stuff down, but if you leave the notepad just sit where you left it, it doesn't do any good.
Right.
I have notes. I have notes here from when here. I have notes here from the guy. Let me see. I can't even read that. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I have math. What was I doing math? Oh, I was doing math for the ad. I was like, what am I doing? What was I doing math for? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. And I had a list. Now I lost a good list. I lost another list of the type of paint I should use. So I'm going to try. Have you tried? It's called 2D, 2D, or 2X. I don't know. There's some kind of spray paint that you only have. I think I was talking about last time where you only have like 48 hours or 10 days or something like that to use the can.
2K.
2K. There it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 2K gloss is
And it's like $30 a spray can or close to that or something like that.
Yeah, and you can never use it all.
Yeah. Well, but again, talking to the dude that does the Mandalorian, he said they don't. That's how they fill in their print lines. They spray that gloss on.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't have time. Like they're turning over costumes. You know how it is to fill in print lines. I mean, you got to figure out the fastest method possible.
Yeah, I mean, when money's no object, I guess.
Yeah. If you, I'll just throw out a case of $24 spray cans. But that's what. Let me get to our. Let's get to our segments. Let me see. I get to our captions. No, is it the caption? Oh, here we go. Ticker. What should we do for our first one while we wait for Ken? Here, how about what was that? Or on your bucket list? What's going on the Let me see.
Well,
bucket list. Let me get the. Hang on. Bucket list. I'll just put bucket list on there so people know we're on the bucket list segment. Let me see if I can. There it is. Show. Look at that.
Perfect.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah. So, a couple of things possibly in the works. Might be trying to do another episode with Dad. He's been chomping at the bit, which is baffling to me to begin with.
Well, no. What did he think of the final product?
No, he loved it.
Like his feedback.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I also haven't checked Anchor, truthfully.
For your numbers.
Yeah, but I do know a lot of people really liked that episode.
Yeah, that was a good episode. That was like a heartfelt, like, fun episode. Like if you were, I see Ken. Is Ken wearing? Oh, Ken got his goggles for his
Ajax Citizen.
All right.
Oh my.
We're doing the bucket list on thing, but I would say that after that episode with your dad, especially if like you were forced to find a co-host, that's who you'd be. Or if you needed a fill-in host, like if you would trust your dad to just like, hey dad, I'm busy at work this week, can you record it? That's he did so good. So
Yeah. Not to mention he's great at talking, especially to himself most of the time, but
there you go.
Sometimes you need an expert opinion on stuff.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely good. And so anything else on the bucket list? What episode are you up to?
Last episode was 7. Need to record 8 still. But I've got a couple people who have expressed interest in coming on, so it's a matter of getting to it and whatnot. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah, nothing set in stone, but hopefully here soon should have something.
So how do you think the your first run of ones went overall? Thinking back like 6 months ago before you started it.
Better than expected. Thinking, because I've got 2 episodes with Jess, 2 with Ken, 1 solo, and then God, who else did I have on? Or no, 3 with Ken.
Nice.
2 with Jess, and then 1 by myself and 1 with my dad. I mean, I didn't expect to have 7 episodes out this quick. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like it is that quick, but
yeah, but it's
all
good.
things considered.
That's fantastic.
Now, can I make a recommendation since you're at episode 7? Make a spreadsheet right now or whenever, and every episode put your keywords. Because right now with Zoe of 200 and some, I wish I had a spreadsheet where I could just type in search on a spreadsheet and find who was a guest in this one episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I would just make a spreadsheet. The first would be your title, and then just put columns of who was your guest or what was your topic. That'd be my recommendation, because it won't be that hard to do now. But if you get into 15, 20, you're not going to do it. It's just going to be,
right.
Because eventually, what I would like to do with Zoe's and what I see a lot of podcasters doing, I would love when she has a slow time to put up a best of episode. And if I had a better way to search it, like I put up the Rogue One episode, but if I had a better way to search it, it would be much less painful to do.
Right.
What do you think, Ken?
I agree, and I mean I think it's harder with a show like yours, John, because you do have so much variety. I mean, ours, we're going to talk about the Inflatable Falcon. We're going to talk about vegan food. We're going to talk about cars in some way, shape, or form. But in yours, there's so much potential variety, and when you get further down the path, you'll want to be able to go, oh yeah, we talked about this in episode 6. And so if you haven't listened to it yet, go back to the gallery, go back to the library, and listen to it. Where I got to talk with my dad all about toys and the time he cheated a store out of $8.
The criminal mastermind.
Right.
As a child.
Yeah, I'll have to do that, because you're right. That is a good idea.
I'm just it's a good database, and honestly, like when I started Zoe's, I didn't know a year after we were finished we started it, we would still even be doing it or talking about it. So always prepare for it to be big, and big things will follow.
Right.
So see, Ken, look, I even have the bucket list scroll going.
I noticed that. It was so impressive. I didn't want to interrupt you guys, so I'm excited.
So
we're
now
starting to hit the big time.
Since I dropped the ball on the Google Doc for what we were going to talk about, so you'll have to tell me ahead of time. So I'll just make a new ticker for one, And I'll take the excuse that I'm busy at school, but I guarantee you I'll still be throwing that around like mid-year. But it's my go-to excuse. School's busy. These kids. And then you'll find out that I was like just binge watching television and not getting anything done. So or doing a round circle drywall, which I highly don't recommend for anyone that wants to be sane. Don't commit yourself to making a round doorway ever. So.
Yeah, I saw you were making some great progress on that.
It's I just put another thing of mud on it, and then I got to build some other stuff. But I had to get that done because honestly, the drywall and the lumber just took up my whole garage, so I couldn't do anything else. Which I knew that's why I did that, because I wouldn't get it done if I didn't do that.
Well, that's also one of the problems of attempting to have a bunch of projects going in tandem. You know, and I joke around with Heather all the time that when it comes to anything that we want to do here, I have to move the thing A over there, move B to where the thing A was, and C is the thing I want to work on. So it's such a rigmarole to do all of that kind of stuff. You know, I'm glad that Nick agrees that being sane is overrated these days, because I feel like I'm getting crazier and crazier every passing moment.
Yeah, let's here. So let's go on to our many projects. So Ken, you had are they Ajax Citizen goggles for real, or are they just goggles?
Yeah, they're the ones that were posted up. I got them, you know, they came in straight from Amazon.
Nice.
And well, because the faux brown leather, a little bit of silver around the lenses, and the strap is black. The only thing that I have to figure out how to do is there's a little embossed logo here on the leather that I've got to.
Oh yeah, I see.
Got to cover up somehow. But other than that.
Yeah, I got to get started. That's one of those side projects I want to do just for the fun of it. Like that's what I want to be my relaxing, and that's why I put the different levels on the Facebook group. So if anyone is curious about our Ajax Citizen project, it's on Facebook page.
So I saw something that you posted, something about comparing Ajax Citizen to Wilro Hood.
Yes.
And you said it would be the Steel Saunter. Is that what it would be called?
Well, no, it would be we could do the Steel Saunter, but I was thinking, that's what I was in the show. He just kind of wanders around the back. You know what I mean? Like he just wanders past.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be a good instead of the running of the hoods where he's running, we literally go to take a picture of say you and your Mando kit, but the Ajaxes have to just walk around behind like
slowly.
And just kind of try to look at the camera, but not look at the camera. The meandering of the hoods. So that was my thought on that one. Here, let me see if I can share for one of our 5 viewers, if they don't know who Wilro Hood is.
The Citizen Cruise.
So this is the Facebook page right here. So anyone can join it. But he's a character of Steel Saunders, the podcaster and giant Star Wars fan. He, whoops, no, I just lost it. He was the, look, there's a slushy machine. No. So we're going to work on costumes for the hoods right there.
Have you invited Steel to that yet?
Yeah, he's in it. He's in the group.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, because Zoe's talked to him out there, but I'm going to when I make mine, I'm going to make one in tandem. Now he's like almost like 6 inches taller than me, but I'll make one in tandem so he has a Wilro Hood costume as well. So that's why
Wilro Hood for him.
I mean, not Wilro Hood. Sorry, Ajax Citizen. I got talking Ajax Citizen, but sorry, but yeah, here I was thinking like we just have the basic one, which can be like any goggles with a brown towel on your head, then you could just be the basic street rat level. And then we'll do a little more detail and you can be the citizen level. And then the highest level would be the steel level. So, that'd be like the highest level of accuracy.
Would that mean that we have to like grow a real beard?
You'd have to be scruffy and you would have to use an annoying Australian accent.
Well, that'd be easy for me because I lived in Australia.
Yeah. So I just know like a dingo ate my baby. I don't know any. That's my only accent. And then I just annoy my whole family anytime a British show is on. I say that same thing just to annoy them. So,
Uh,
but and then I'm working on my Falcon door, the hallway for the Falcon, which is it's going to be. I would like to say it's going to be Falcon adjacent because of the size, I had to scale things so. I have to put the rim around it with all the hoses and stuff like that, and I have to put the pads, which I think I've been racking my brain because if you've ever priced out the thick AV or the thick foam, like the floor mats, but you can buy it real thick.
oh no! Even here's something even easier:
What's that?
is you use the insulation. So have you ever heard of the smuggler's room?
Yeah.
So I can't remember the guy and his wife's name, but they run the Smuggler's Room YouTube channel,
Right.
and he did a basement build, with the Falcon themed. And what he did was he carved those rectangles, those bumpers,
Right.
out of that pink thick insulation.
Right.
Rounded the edges and all that, then covered them in um, garage paper, like the towel, the paper towel kind of thing,
Yeah.
and then sealed it and then painted it.
Oh.
A, it's lightweight,
Right.
and B, it's a lot cheaper than that really thick, dense foam.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll have to look in that because my plan B when I started pricing that foam, my plan B was yoga blocks from Five Below.
Yeah, but even those are gonna add up fast.
Oh yeah, because I'd have to cut them in half or third. So, but I like that idea because, and I could probably, yeah, I'm gonna. And what's the name of that guy's place? Because he's on Facebook or YouTube?
YouTube. Well, he's on both.
Yeah.
The Smuggler's Room.
He's come across something, but because I've watched every person building any of this crap. And,
yeah, he's fantastic. His videos, even though they don't go step by step in terms of actual time,
right?
Because it would not be fun watching somebody shellac these things.
Right.
But he does walk you through the steps he took.
Because I've used those shop cloths for inner chest pieces of 000 and 3PO as strengthening things. And then my other project is Vader still. The Wendy just took my last measurements. She's working on my inner robe, so
that's so cool.
That's my.
Do you know what the timetable is? Possibly.
She's going to have that done hopefully before Halloween. So, I just have to sit down and do it piece by piece. So, like, my chest box, I was working on that a little bit because the chest box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth it out. It's a good print, but I think I'm then going to mold it, cast it, and smooth it out even more. Just because that chest piece, it's similar to you can have a like a Boba Fett helmet and you can still have print lines in it, but if you get that first thing they see nice and smooth, it kind of so the same. I don't want that chest. I don't want the first thing someone sees, especially with the lights on it, and they see all these print lines. So my that's if that works out fine, then I'm golden. So and plans, that's. Once she gets the robe, then I'll start fitting everything. So then I just can't I can put everything on, but it doesn't really do you any good if you're missing that inner robe because everything has to, the Empire Strikes Back, for some reason why I picked that one, I don't know, has these 3 pleats on each side. And they have to be, and I got to play around. The chest box is 7 inches by 7 inches. Because I'm not 6'4", I got to be careful of the spacing with the chest box.
Now, did you print the belt boxes yet?
No, but I have the file. I bought the Empire Strikes Back. The belt boxes are pretty easy because I can print them. I'll just print them upright and then just knock all the stuff off the inside. Because I got to just make sure the lights are different. Because on New Hope, I don't think his lights work, or not all of his lights work, if I remember correctly. But Empire, they do. The CRL time. That's why. So I'm sorry, Ken. What projects are you working on?
Still working on my post Imperial. I got some more paint, some more primer on the chest piece. I was going to ask John tonight if he would be willing to take on a commission for a set of shoulder bells, because my other shoulder bells kind of fell through.
I can do that.
And I'm looking for the ones when you look at Din from season 1. Remember I had 2 mismatched shoulders? I need his right one, so the one that's brownish, that doesn't have the ridge down the middle.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
the,
Viper Scout.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I need
the Durasteel.
Yep. So those are the 2 that I need, because I was gonna have one of the Jersey guys print them for me, but he's insanely busy, and he has a long queue to get them done, and I don't want to keep pestering him for it.
I just got to get my printers back up and running. I've just been lazy. I still IG11's printing, but that's all I have. And so I have a giant tote full of IG11.
Do you have it in an igloo cooler?
No.
An IG Lou cooler?
Yeah. No, it's in the I think it's in the tote that I used to use before I bought my Husky. All right. So what are you working on, John?
Still, I'm planning on printing a Mandalorian helmet for Giancarlo Esposito. I think I am actually going to do that.
Nice.
So it's a matter of actually getting down to it and printing it. Then now a set of shoulder bells for Ken.
Nice.
Well, you can put me after Mr. Esposito. I understand.
I think the other thing that I'm going to do is I saw on Facebook, and I'm still trying to find the files for it, but someone has a live-action Darksaber file that looks identical to the
nice.
Black Series.
Wow.
Nice.
So I can have a nice-looking Darksaber that I can hang from my belt, and that's not. I don't think I have it nearby, but it's that flat one that I carried around at.
Yeah. I have that. I think I have that same one for Zoe. One year I made her a Darksaber, and the blade was so heavy it was dangerous because it was made with 3 layers of plexiglass painted with LEDs down the middle, but it was dangerous. There's an exact replica of the Darksaber. It's called Space Samurai at Party City. They used to make one called Space Samurai, same blade, same everything. And I had one of those for the longest time for Zoe. So
that was it Ruby's that made that original one, that Space Samurai?
It was. I don't even think it was Ruby's. I think it was the knockoff, like Party City brand.
Oh, really?
Like it was, because it was like $7. So
yeah, I just want one that's a little bit more lightweight.
Yeah,
because that Black Series is it's 1,000 pounds.
Well, I got to see how Sabine carries. Well, no, Sabine won't have it in the Ahsoka show,
right?
But in the animated, if I print her another one, I'm gonna print it. I'm gonna slice it in half and put magnets in it and then glue it together, because Sabine carries it where it just snaps on the back of her belt. Because apparently everything just sticks to Sabine's belt. Like her belt is just a giant sticky thing. So, but yeah. So Ken, well, okay. So that's all of our builds. How about trooping and upcoming events? Is that our next topic?
Yeah, we can do time for troop time.
Troop time. Okay. Yeah, I got a troop. Well, while I'm waiting, Ken, are you going to the big sale, the big prop sale?
I'm still debating that. I'm not.
I want to. My heart wants to go, but my wallet says don't.
Yeah, both, and mostly my wallet, because Heather and I have a trip to Batu coming up.
Oh, okay.
And I know as much as I shouldn't come home with stuff from there, I will. And we're gonna be in Disney World for an entire week, and we're gonna eat our way around Epcot and
nice.
Potentially have some adult beverages along the way, because it'll just be Heather and I and Heather, so no children.
Nice.
So, and we're not driving anywhere, so
the first time we went to Disney, I had never been. My family forced me to go. I didn't want to go. And it happened to be Star Wars weekend. And I didn't really spend anything the whole time other than, tipping the waiters and stuff. But you paid your money. Man, as soon as all that Star Wars stuff started appearing, because back then there wasn't that much Star Wars stuff in the park, and then they would open up that big Star Wars thing with the sandcrawler.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, Darth Maul. Oh man, and my wallet was hurting then, and it was just like I saw the popcorn bucket. There was a Darth Vader head with popcorn in it. I was like, I gotta have it. And then they had slushies in Boba Fett heads. I had to have, what I mean? I was like, just take my money. So.
Well, now that they have an entire region of the park dedicated to it,
I have not been there yet, Ken.
And the first time I went to Star Wars weekend, I felt hoodwinked because I went to that Darth Maul expecting everything to be half off, and it was not.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, so we're headed down there. So I'd like to go this weekend, and unfortunately, at the same time, this Saturday we have a New Jersey armor party, a New Jersey Mando Merc armor party, and one of the guys is planning to do a makeshift photo shoot. He's got some ideas for some promo materials for our clan and things like that. So I might skip out on the prop buying and just go pose for pictures.
Right. Well, and the stuff that like I was interested in the vacuum form table, but then I looked up plans to build one, and I'm like, you know what? It might be better to build one slightly bigger, for mine.
He has two of them.
Yeah, he just had the small one for sale. It looked like it was just a small one that I saw on the picture.
We'll talk after the show about the small one.
Yeah, and then all the molds and stuff like that. Again, molds have a finite life, and I know what it costs to make a mold. And his molds are good, but like if you can have the world's best mold, if it's on its last legs, or if someone didn't treat it nice, didn't give it some nice talcum powder and stuff like that, or mold release, you can take a big chunk out of a mold. Like I had it happen to a 3PO mold I made because I didn't know. My first 3PO mold was a really good mold. Slushed the face, pulled it out, and a big chunk came right out of the forehead. So and that was only after about 15 pulls.
Oh man.
Where my other mold lasted, oh man, I probably pulled 50 or 60 and it's still going strong. So, I don't know. Safi wants to go to the reptile expo up there at the big place. I don't know. So I think I'll take her there for her birthday. And I don't know the debate will be if I want to go look at the props or go see Jordan. It'll be if I feel like spending money on gas or money on props. And like I said, I don't need any more projects. So troop in time. I don't have any troops coming up. I have at least one wedding in October. I've never done a wedding. I know I did one wedding before, but not an official wedding.
Weren't we all supposed to go to a wedding at some point?
Yeah, the end of, beginning of November, I think. I have to get more details on it because one of the things I've been struggling to get details related to is where we're going to change and when we're going to change. So here's where it gets fun. So on May 4th, I was teaching a class at work, and I got permission from my supervisor to dress up like a Jedi and bring Star Wars helmets and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. So many people learned at work that Ken Bishop is a Star Wars fan. And one of the people in the class asked if I would be willing to go to a wedding for a coworker. And I agreed. And so it's the bridesmaids who are planning this part. They don't want to, and I hope my coworker isn't listening to the show.
Because be one of the four people.
Yeah, I just spoiled it. The bride and groom don't know that we've been invited.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, how do we get there, change, and not be seen doing so.
We'll have to look like a band. You have to look like a band. Like, oh, they brought in a live band with all those instruments they're carrying.
Well, John's got the leather pants.
Yeah,
He's got the Kylo pants. And I could look dirty like a roadie. I mean,
yeah.
I would never be confused for a musician.
Well, you could be a rocker. That's my next event. I don't really have any other events on the books. I haven't even signed up for Steel City. I'm just going as a person.
Is that did Starkiller put those signups up already?
I think so, but they're not. Starkiller's laid back, and there's nothing to really sign up for because you got to buy your tickets anyway. And the changing area, see, even when we used to get an entire room at Steel City, a big room that would fit like 30 people, I still never changed.
Hallway.
Yeah, I never changed over there anyway. I just changed in the hotel and just walked over. It was just,
Yeah, but with Vader, you might want to.
I don't care. I'm Vader is more comfortable than a TK. Once I just when I wore it for 2.5 hours in New York City. At these rich people's house, and honestly, the only problem I had is when the one lift slipped. But I have new lifts. The helmet I can see out of better than a TK because you have a range of motion in your neck and stuff.
Yeah, the difference being inside a house or inside a convention and walking across a parking lot is you're not likely to get hit by a car inside someone's house or inside the event.
If Sappy can do it in 000, I can do it in Vader.
I was more so thinking because like it's going to be December, it's winter, snow,
nice and warm,
slippery,
huh?
It's going to be slippery.
What I'll do is I do with Safi when she goes over in 000. I normally walk over once to see, you know what I mean, like to see what to watch out for, and if I have to, I'll just walk with my helmet off. I'll just walk with my helmet off and put it on.
So for Troop Time, I recently had an event. So this past weekend in Wildwood, the Wildwood Naval Air Museum, they did their Labor Day Air Fest, and so I went down on Sunday as Kenix, and I was the only Star Wars person there, and I got called Darth Vader. I got asked if I was Boba Fett, and I came up with the world's greatest answer that probably no one has ever said before.
What's that?
And when people ask me if I was Boba Fett, I'd say, no, I'm his cousin. And they say, what's your name? And I say, Bob. Bob Fett. And
Bob A. Fett.
Yeah, it made a lot of adult children giggle. And for me, the two funniest parts about the event is outside on the tarmac or whatever, right outside the hangar, they had a mobile axe throwing station.
I saw that.
So they were kind enough to invite me in to throw axes in my costume.
That's funny.
And then
you survived.
I survived. And they survived, which is more important. Like, I didn't hurt anybody else. It's one thing if I hurt myself, but I didn't hurt anybody else in the process. And then my second favorite part of the event was there was a little guy there who, I guess his parents said that there were going to be Star Wars people there, and he loves The Mandalorian. When he got there, he didn't want to get a picture with me because he was afraid, and then got a picture with me, and his parents didn't realize at first that it was me, and we know him. We know the parents.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So then, Heather saw them in the crowd and mentioned to me, and it was a really cute moment with the little guy.
And look, the Facebook comments just come over. Someone was posting on Facebook. Mine just came over. So
I think that might be because you're streaming.
I don't know. I mean, but Nick said that they think they identified the actor who played Wilro Hood. So, which I thought was.
I thought they didn't already know that.
They said a few months ago they identified him. So I know he was one of those ones where, like, I know Boshek took a while for them to find out who played Boshek. Because a lot of those guys were just bit actors. They just jumped in and just kept on going. But that's cool. So John, what is your troop?
Well, I just realized something that there is a troop next Friday that is a grand total of 3 minutes from where I work.
Oh my goodness.
So I think I'm going to talk to my boss because next schedule week is something else for me.
Oh, okay.
So because I've got, just in my personal life, I've got a Browns game on Sunday and a Browns game on Thursday. So I have to try.
Browns is football for any of our watchers that don't want no football.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was the Jawas. He was talking about the Jawas.
Wow. But yeah, so I have to try and figure out how I'm going to get both Sunday, because our schedules go Friday to Thursday. So I got to try and figure out how to get both Sunday and Thursday off, half the day on Friday, and half the day on Wednesday.
Oh man. So that seems
Yeah.
like
So we're gonna have to play some serious chess here to try and figure
like
this out.
3-dimensional chess.
4-dimensional chess for you Trek fans.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's a casino night for a like an educational group.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it seems like apparently this year's theme is heroes versus villains, even though we don't have any heroes signed up.
Well, I did an event like that years ago. There was a gentleman. It was I think it was Force Awakens, or it could have been Rogue One. I trooped that, and there was a gentleman that got his picture with me. And probably like 6 months later, he was a recovering addict, and he overdosed and he passed away. And but one of his favorite pictures on his phone, and I guess whatever, was the picture of me and him. And so they did in his name, they did a casino night to help raise money for a place that helped people with addiction. And they invited me as a special guest to the thing, which I was like, look, I was just, I'm glad I so it just as a reminder of like the impact we make sometimes not knowing, for people and families. So
yeah, I told you guys about the phone picture that very similar experience.
Yeah.
In terms of somebody showing me their phone and me being on it it's pretty wild. I mean, we make the costumes because A, we enjoy making them, and B, we enjoy wearing them, but it's hard to really anticipate the ripples that can have.
Right.
And for us, it may feel like just moments in time, but for other folks, they're very important, very cool, very memorable moments. And that's why whenever I troop, I do it with such reverence and respect.
Well, and that's the professionalism of what we do. And that's why I respect like the CRLs and all that, even though we might complain sometimes the hoops we have to jump through. But the seriousness we take in our costumes, sometimes we forget what it does for people, And not saying that if you have a not so perfect costume, it's not going to do the same thing, but overall that whole level of professionalism is what's really cool. So the other event, Ken, I don't know if you weren't on when John and I were talking about, but Zoe is now trooping with the LA Mando Mercs.
Of course she is.
And so Dad, me,
John, don't be jealous. John, don't be jealous.
I'm jealous. I have to pack up her kit and send it. So I haven't decided if I'm a bad father or a good Mando, because I'm more worried about sending her kit across the country than I was sending her across the country.
Well, before you do this is where Ken's gonna pull the card. Hold her kit hostage until she gets a picture in front of Magic Jump.
I would, except she needs it for next Thursday because she's doing the premiere of Andor.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If it matters to her, if she really wants it, she will figure out how to get 15 miles to Magic Jump.
Yeah.
And Zoe, I know you're listening. We love you. We want to see you in costume at the Andor premiere, and we want a picture in front of Magic Jump. Make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if not, I mean,
I'm just gonna put a map of Magic Jump right on the box when she opens it up, and I'll have me with a sad face.
oh, that's even better. What if you sent it to Magic Jump
Yeah. Oh
and
man,
she has to pick it up from Magic Jump?
there is so much stress in my brain about me sending this kit because like I can replace some of the stuff, but like the helmet, you're a Mando. You guys are Mandos. It doesn't matter. The helmet's your helmet. That's how I am with my TK. I'll never get rid of my FX bucket, even though it's not accurate and it's ugly and it's a pain to wear because that was my first one I ever wore. And her Sabine buckets are the same thing. And it's funny because all of her newer Sabine buckets are signed by the guy who owns Enemy Props. He's now the person that does the sculpting for Lucasfilm. So she has signed helmets from the sculptor of so. But yeah, I'm stressed about that. But she had a good Mando Mercs party with them, and they went and saw Rogue One in El Capitan. She went and saw Jaws for the first time in the theater last night.
Yeah, they've been playing it in IMAX around here.
Well, she bought some kind of pass at AMC where she can go multiple times.
How far away is El Capitan from where she is?
El Capitan is that your first helmet? Oh, look at that.
That's my first helmet.
Yep. That's a new
Did
style.
you leave it in your car?
No, so I left it in my my tote in a very awkward position. So that's my first helmet. He's a little squished.
Yeah.
It looks like after getting hit by a shadow trooper.
Yeah, it was someone crushed. It was like the guy who crushed his head in Game of Thrones. When he didn't have a helmet.
Oh, the mountain.
Yeah,
the
when
Mandalorian.
His head. Yeah, he crushed Pablo's head.
Yeah, Pedro's. Yeah.
Pedro
Pascal's head. He crushed his head.
Yeah.
So how far is El Capitan from where Zoe is?
I think it's like a 40-minute bus ride. She said the mass transit in LA area, that's not too bad.
It was like Star Killer.
Yeah, is not as good as Philadelphia. She said she just has to learn it. But then the way the highway runs through Burbank and LA, she can get all through Burbank pretty quick, but that highway throws everything off.
Yeah.
Like it throws off any ride shares, it throws off any transit and stuff like that. So she's learning it. I mean, it's just totally different for her.
So she managed to get there.
Yeah, well, I know. Listen, right now my badgering meter is badgering her to call in all the contacts and stuff like that of stuff she needs for a job.
Yeah, but if she can ask for a costume that's sent from the left or sent to the left coast from the right coast.
Yeah, but she has that costume is going to get her into a couple events that So
it's important to her.
It's important. It's as important to me because that's the costume that got compliments from the painter of Lucasfilm. So, but I am scared because I got to send it in 2 boxes, and I'm a little scared. So,
if it's important enough, she'll make it happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just need to have that to her. So I'm going to talk to her about. I want her to go to Magic Jump, and I want her to go to a couple of prop houses. So that's.
Yeah, I'm not asking her to move mountains, or fix the drought in California.
Well, I am worried about it. I'm worried about it traveling too in 100 and some degree heat. That's my other. She might. The helmet's going all by itself. It's going to be packed, so even if it heats up, it can't budge. It's going to be filled, and we'll see. But the Mandos seem pretty cool over there.
Well, they got a big group there too, I think.
Huh?
I think they have a big group in LA.
Yeah. It seems pretty. Like there was a giant group of them, and it was funny because they went. Then they went to Scum and Villainy, and then they were going to get something to eat. They were eating something at there, and she's like, I can't eat cheese. I'm vegan. And here, 3/4 of them are vegan. So they all went to a vegan restaurant. So she had a good time her first out, which she needed that because I think she feels lonely. It can be lonely. She went from being an RA, having a whole close group of friends, like you saw them at an armor party. Like they that's how they were all year. And then she goes out there and she's basically alone. So because even Sal and them are on the other side of the highway, so they're like 45 minutes to get to them, even though it's pretty close. So. And she's not. Is it just me or 90% of Star Wars podcasters on break?
There are a lot of them, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm just not getting new stuff in my feed.
Yeah, there are a bunch of them that are on break. I mean, heck, even the forces behind Star Wars have been on a break. I thought we were gonna. I got it mixed up. I thought we were gonna record last night, and then I realized I couldn't record last night, so I put out a note to everybody, and we'll have to record either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday. Still trying to catch up on Light and Magic.
What is it? Oh yeah.
I think I've watched that at least one more time since I talked to you guys last. Just have it on. It's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. I love that 6 hours of history and camaraderie and creativity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dad and I are still trying to get through the last episode.
Well, it is one of those things too. Like I with certain shows, I always hate watching the last episode because you're done. Like sometimes it's nice to have that. Like, okay, I just got to finish that one. I just because that's how it was with now that we have the Lord of the Rings TV show. But I remember watching Return of the King, and I was sad. Like I was like, because what are they going to make? Like the Silmarillion, they're going to make that into a movie.
What are they going to make? The Hobbit?
Yeah, well, the Hobbit, but I just still knew it was the end of the story. So,
Speaking of the Rings of Power, not that I should be surprised by this, however, I am that there are folks, a couple episodes in, who are already bashing it. Like, come on! And the things they're bashing it for, from my perspective, and I know I'm opinionated on this, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot. I don't know what happened in the last. Well, I do, but it's there's just a blatant. It's I see it in Marvel. It started with Star Wars. I see it in Marvel. Now Lord of the Rings, people get to face it. There's just a sexism and racism that for some reason people think it's okay, and they don't even hide it, or they hide it poorly. Because like before Star Wars, Lord of the Rings was all I had. Like I remember it was Bill, I forget his last name, Scott Shingle, and we had an hour and 15-minute bus ride one way, all through school. Same bus, same seats, and all we talked about was Lord of the Rings for years because that's all we had. We didn't have the internet, and when you're like in 5th grade, it took you like forever to read Lord of the Rings, because it was like reading I remember reading all those stupid names. I was like, and
even trying to say the words in the different languages.
Oh yeah, and then we used to try to write the language, that was around the in Mordor. When I think our podcast just got even more nerdy when we talked.
Yeah.
And then when Dungeons and Dragons hit when I was about 6th grade, I guess 5th or 6th grade. That the old Dungeons and Dragons books used to have a required reading list, and Lord of the Rings was right there in it. So
see, and to me, that I think Tolkien is a wonderful example of some of the things that we love so much about Star Wars. A, the creativity.
Yep.
B, the depth with which he wrote these stories. I mean, that guy created languages.
Yep.
He created Elvish, Dwarf, and that was Elvish, Orcish, and like wrote songs and wrote poetry inside each of these stories. And from what I understand, Tolkien started off telling these stories to his grandchildren and then chose to put it down on paper.
Yeah, and then depending on who you read, his overall theme was against industrialization.
Well, and oddly enough, against racism, from what
Yep.
I understand.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, his was science fiction before it was science fiction. I mean, I know it's fantasy, but it had the same. It had the same
themes,
but it had those same hidden themes. So at a glance, you're like, hey, look here, these orcs are fighting elves, you know. But then when it was simplistic in the sense that he divided the races really simply. Here's dwarves, here's elves, but they put in those same strife and showed how idiotic it was.
Yep,
You know,
and
the dwarves
how
and the
they
elves.
could overcome it.
Yeah. And Lucas did the same thing. Like Lucas did Tatooine's a desert planet, which in reality would not make sense. You know, because he put no biomes. It's like, okay, instead of a biome, here, the whole planet is that way. You know, and it was like the old Flash Gordon. But then you could deal with all these social inequity, and I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed those first three. Like I watched what's the other one? Game of Thrones.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, which is good too, but that's like I can't bring that up in my school with my students. You know, hey, you know,
yeah, she was a lady of the pillow or something like that.
yeah. So, you know, the elves and stuff are, I don't know, the Lord of the Rings stuff is. I'm looking for. I didn't think I would look forward to that as much as I do. Like I watched it because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but it kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't really in the Lord of the Rings group.
Yeah,
and it kind of snuck up on me. So,
well, I mean, I think you've been in the Lord of the. It's not a current fascination or interest because of all the other things going on. And then once you gave yourself the time to sit down and watch, you're like, yeah, this is comfortable. This is where it's at.
And I'm out of the loop here. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. It's really good.
It's gorgeous. The shows, I think the episodes are fantastic. The costumes, I mean, they did this one. What was? Where was it that Galadriel went? Like they climbed up that big giant ice mountain.
Ice mountain, yeah. That was, man.
Just how they managed to film that, I have no idea.
Well,
and it's wonderful. Yeah.
They did I think people were worried because the movies did such a great job of taking what Tolkien had drawn or whoever did his drawings and kind of put it on film. And I think they were worried that they wouldn't have that same grandeur since it was a television show. And some of the first opening scenes, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know?
And Weta Workshop is fantastic with their costumes and their props and everything. I mean, they created a mini factory for the Lord of the Rings movie, and then transitioned into the Hobbit movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was good. It was really fun to watch.
Now, how long are the episodes?
Like an hour, a little more than an hour, I think.
Yeah, roughly speaking.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're coming out one episode a week rather than a ginormous bolus of it all at one time that people binge and then complain about all at once.
Well, I think
at least spreads out the complaining.
I also think this Star Wars did a good job with that because if you put them all out there, then it forces all, like if they put out all the episodes of Boba Fett the first day, it would force people like us to either have to watch them all quickly because we're all on the social media where it would be spoiled relatively quickly, or we would have to ignore our social media. So, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if we live in that world anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it gives shows, I think it hurts shows because I know for me, I lost interest in Stranger Things because it just seemed like so long between the seasons. And then when the second season was coming up, I was like, oh, I really should rewatch it because I binged it before. So I really only retained about 50% of it. And then I was just like,
well, it's a good thing only 50% of that show is relevant.
I think the reason I like the first season of Stranger Things is because I grew up. They captured what it felt like to grow up then. Other than but like when it just felt like someone who really lived in the 80s, because so many stuff in the 70s and 80s, they do caricatures of the 70s and 80s. It doesn't really feel real. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So, but
The
anyway,
only time I binge watch stuff is after I've seen it one time.
yeah,
Watch it, give it some space, watch it, give it some space, is when I want to rewatch it.
yeah.
Like the Light and Magic. I'll sit down and I'll watch 2 episodes of that back to back just because I want to figure out another way of absorbing all the wonderfulness that's in each episode.
Here I'm looking at Nick's posts on Facebook because they're not coming through on our feed.
Oh, okay.
But he was saying he remembered 3 people making nothing but chainmail, and it took 9 months to a year for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they actually made a little machine to cut the PVC to a certain width so that they could, because I thought all the chainmail was made out of lightweight PVC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the one thing. If anyone has not followed or talked to Nicholas, he knows his stuff when it comes to costumes. Like if you're stuck on anything, I hope he doesn't mind me sending people his way. But he is like we started doing that. The Ajax Citizen, he had stuff posted up in minutes. He was just like boom, 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 boom. But yeah, he has some stuff. He has stuff about total F1 theory is about people that believe what they can post whatever when they're anonymous on the internet. Yeah. I think the sad part, though, going back to what we first started when we started this Lord of the Rings, I think the sad part is a lot of these people it happens with Lord of the Rings, it happened with some Star Wars movies, some Star Wars shows, it happened with She-Hulk. These people that just want to ruin it because they don't like it for whatever reason, whether they're right or wrong. If you want to be a misogynistic, racist person, why do you have to bring that to everyone else? Like sit alone and if you're not gonna if you can't learn the importance of all the things that were wrong in our past in this day and age, I don't know what's going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think another important piece to think about related to that is they can only be helped if they want to be helped.
Right.
So we don't possess the words, we don't possess the actions to change somebody's mind.
Right.
They have to be willing to change it on their own. And if they're going to come to, let's say, even the Kenobi show, if they're going to come to the 6 or 8 episodes of the Kenobi show and complain about it from the first one, then that's their choice. They're going to choose that, and there's nothing that we can say to make them change that unless they want to change it.
Right.
And I think in some cases, some folks, not all folks, but some folks enjoy taking that position because it does, pardon my language, it does stir the turds. It does, it does rile people up. It does get people animated and so on. And they just like to sit back and, as Alfred said, watch the world burn.
Yeah, I guess. I think if you promote something, like some people say, well, look, they're just promoting it for clickbait and stuff like that. If you promote at a certain point, it's the same as you believe it or not. You know what I mean? Like that's just, to me, that just seems like it's just the same. Yeah, flexible. Well, yeah, and I agree, Nick, on that to a certain point. I mean, I do think like certain things are but I also think I again, and I'll say this over and over again: if you don't like a certain percentage of something, then just watch something. We live in a time period where you can pretty much find anything. If you want the good old days when things weren't represented, then don't bother us that want to move past it. Just go watch stuff from whatever year you last liked the show. It won't be as good and it won't be as engaging, but just watch it and
Well, one of the things I would find it interesting to get involved in a conversation with someone who is so animated, who is so deeply opinionated and just what is the benefit of that?
Right.
So what's the enjoyment of it? What do you really get from behaving that way, speaking that way, thinking that way? And how does that help anybody else? Because I don't know if it does,
Yeah.
unless it's you're gathering more like-minded complainers, and there's that shared that I complained. You did a great job complaining tonight, John. Way to go, high five. You complained like the best of them. You know,
Yeah. Well, and maybe I don't know, but we have John getting his first troop soon. We
Hopefully.
have Steel City coming up, which will be here quicker than we. I mean, because we're already 1 week into September. Like it seems like
not so loud.
and then events galore, and again, it's going to go fast because I got to get Vader done. As long as I have something with a timeline, it seems like things fly. I'll probably be gluing the LEDs into the chest box in the double tree. Is probably what will be happening. I just have to hope my iPod Shuffle holds out, so I don't have to buy another sound thing for my breathing apparatus.
What does I can't remember the iPod Shuffle. Did it have an X? How did you charge it?
It charges through the headphone jack. It has a headphone jack adapter, and it
Yeah.
uses the headphone jack. And no, it should work. I ran it. I just let it run. It with the breathing, it runs about 6 hours. So yeah, Nick, I'm doing ESB Empire Strikes Back Vader. So my helmet. Where's my helmet's wrong hand? My helmet's right there. So, and Wendy Darling from West Virginia is doing my inner robe. I have my outer robe and my rubber suit, whatever that's called. And I have lifts, so I won't be a short Vader. And my chest armor. Though I rewatched season 1 of The Mandalorian. I just forgot how much I love that show. Because I like all the other shows, but man, when he rescues Grogu from the Imperials, that's one of my favorite episodes. And the one where is that the same episode that he gives up the kid?
Yes,
Because
he turned him over to the client.
Yeah,
and then came back later after having that change of heart and busted into the joint and used the whistling birds.
Him turning over Grogu, even though I know moments later he's going to come rescue him, it still hurts my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as much as when Luke takes him away.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the Luke piece, because did Luke really take him away? I mean, I wouldn't use I wouldn't choose that word.
Right,
I would say that when Grogu went with Luke.
Well, maybe it's more of a projection because I'm also at that point where my kids are being taken away. You know what I mean? Like it's probably more that. I mean, because like Andor's going to be the first Star Wars show that I have not watched with Zoe. Like day one. And I wish somehow I could figure out money and work-wise to be able to fly out and watch it with her, but I'm not going to be able to. And I know I can watch it, but we can't watch it together because we have the same Disney Plus account, so you can't watch it together.
You could be the parent in this and tell her that she's not allowed to watch it till she comes home.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's not going to happen either. No, but I mean, it's just more of. Does she
want that kid or not?
It's just more of that. It's just more of that part of life, like because I grew up. I grew up with my grandparents, so I never really had parents. Because even if your grandparents are the world's best parents, they're still not your parents. And you're reminded of that, especially when I grew up. You were reminded of that daily. Like it was, there was, and so with me, besides my wife, the closest I've been to any human beings are Zoe and Safi. Like they're my only real blood relatives that I have that I'm close to. Yeah, Nick, we can watch it on the same account with separate accounts, but you can't do the thing where you watch together. Like we'll probably watch it over the phone. But with 3 episodes, she'll wind up killing me because if she wants to watch it at like 9 at night, I'll be up till like 4 in the morning the next day. So,
well, isn't she watching it?
Hmm?
Oh, isn't she watching it next Thursday?
Yes, she is. Yeah. So next Thursday is when she'll see it at wherever they have their premiere. Hopefully, she's waiting for her ticket. It was nice. I tell you what, the costuming groups, as much as I know, sometimes I'll go on a rant or we might talk about the some of the small negative things about the costuming groups. I can't have asked for a nicer group of people that have welcomed her. Yeah, no, Nick, the group one doesn't work if you're on the same account.
Well, do you want to?
I lost you. Do I want to what now?
Do you want the login for my account?
Nah, no. It'll honestly, we'll probably watch it via we'll probably go like FaceTime. We'll probably FaceTime it or something like that. But I'm happy that she's going to get to see it, like more than anything.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to learn patience through knowing Zoe.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I feel like
knowing that she's every time we get together. Oh, Zoe's doing this and Zoe's doing that. I'm like, son of a gun.
Hey, well, you should be listen, like she can say, I've been in this since I was 6 years old, because she started troop when she was 6. I've been in this since 1977, and I don't even get like I feel bad getting jealous of my own kids sometimes. I'm just like, and then I get the lists of all the internships and jobs at Lucasfilm, and I'm like, oh, how can I parlay my master's degree in education into any one of these?
Well, the 2 of you want to write a book with me?
Sure.
Yeah.
So there are 2 things I have in mind. And now, if anyone out there in the interwebs steals these ideas, I'll be very upset.
We have a recording of the exact time.
So the first idea is, how they have the Be More Vader, Be More Boba Fett books. We should put one together, Be More George.
Ah, there you go.
George Lucas, for his creativity, for his ingenuity, for his leadership, did an amazing job of getting folks together to create incredible things. Yes, that's the man, the myth, the legend, and we all need to have aviator sunglasses like that. But I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from Star Wars and how it was made. So the one would be More George. And I know the Disney Institute does classes. They do lecture series where people can go to Florida and learn from Imagineers and other people at Disney about how to be a leader from the Disney perspective.
Right.
We could create an entire curriculum about lessons from George Lucas and Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, think of the collaboration, think of the creativity, think of the ingenuity, think of the bravery that was required to bring the 1977 Star Wars to life, and then the prequel trilogy and everything else that has come since that is still growing, still going, 40 plus years later.
Yeah. Well, I know, like for me, besides all the Star Wars stuff, in the 90s, the one thing when I used to get Star Wars Insider, when that was like the only Star Wars you could get, I was always amazed at the loyalty that George had for his people. Like he always seemed, the people that were there for him, he was always there for them. It seemed like, because I remember like Peter Mayhew stuck by him, Anthony Daniels, and they seemed like they always just had a good thing going.
Well, even the makers themselves. I mean, whether you're talking, Lawrence Kasdan or Phil Tippett, Doug Chang, Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni still talks about the lessons that he learned working with George. Sam Witwer, one of the actors,
Yeah.
learned from working with George. And those lessons aren't necessarily academic. They weren't necessarily taught in a class, but they were taught in the school of creation. They were taught in the school of innovation. They were taught in the school of production. And those lessons are applicable to teaching. They're applicable to sports. They're applicable to just life in general. And I think we could do something with it.
Yeah, I'm a friend.
Not that I thought of it before, but
I see Jake, Zoe's mentor, film mentor, just chimed in. Hi, Jake.
hey,
He was the director writer, still is the director writer of Stray Amber, Zoe's first film she ever worked on. So, and he give her break. So, now she's in LA, Jake. So,
and you can be jealous of her just like the rest of us are.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were gonna say we need to start writing our autobiography. I mean,
only if the book cover was inflatable. You know, like you blow it up and to make the book look thicker.
Well, that's the when we do our Kickstarter, that's for the higher tiers. They get the inflatable book cover.
Yes.
See, I don't know if anyone would want to read my autobiography or even my biography. I didn't even necessarily like living it. I don't know if anyone would like reading it.
Maybe we just smash them all together and make one person. Just make a fake, you know.
That means we're cousins with Don Johnson.
Yeah. You're cousins with Don Johnson. I didn't bring up Don Johnson this time.
And that also means that your grandfather ran away and joined the circus.
Oh, see, there you go.
You know, and worked as the human pincushion and monkey tamer.
See, monkey tamer. There we go. Well, no, but I mean, like, so Zoe's out in California following her dreams, and I badger the poor kid to death to make sure she takes advantage of that. But I often think, like, the bravery of any of these people, like the bravery of her, like, I don't know if I wasn't brave enough to do what she did. You know, like I wasn't like, she's in California, you know, not even 21 yet.
Yeah, but I think it's challenging to put your experience on top of hers because her support system and things that got her to here weren't the same as what got you to where you were at that age.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did get laughed out of the guidance counselors when I said I want to be a filmmaker. So,
didn't we all?
Yes. Well, thanks. Hey, Jake, whenever, you know, I'm any advice you can give her, chat her away. Give her, you know, I'm trying to get that kid to do more.
And ask her if she's been to Magic Jump yet.
Yes, Magic Jump.
Mm-hmm.
Home of the Inflatable Falcon, if any of you are interested.
Right. I wanted Jake to come when we were finished, when we were filming with Matt. Let me see if I can. Here, we'll do. Now, let's move on to our. We'll move on to our fan film talk. How's that?
Fan film flim flam?
Is it flim flam? Okay. Well, now see, now I got retype. Fan film.
Well, while you're typing that, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Do any of you know how hobbit flowers grow?
Don't. No.
What is it?
Through photosynthesis.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh man, I can't wait to use that at school tomorrow. I'm gonna tell the one science teacher, and she'll probably jump out a window. Because I posted up on, I think it was Facebook, for people to be careful when they were watching that, because the new show, because it was Hobbit forming, and some people didn't like that. They didn't think that was as funny.
Well, why did the Hobbit put his phone on silent?
I don't know.
Come
He was
on,
bored
man.
of the rings.
Oh. Usually we
I'll
go.
be here all week, folks. Tip
know-
your servers.
Ken, maybe you should start a stand-up career.
Yeah,
We need a good nerd comic.
Bill Burr's not good enough as a nerd comic.
Yeah, but
or Patton Oswalt.
Bill Burr can come across very angry, which is I like his comedy, but I can see how people his comedy. I can see how certain people get very offended by his comedy because they forget it's comedy.
Yeah, I can
Like-
see that.
But we need more of like those like Jerry Seinfeld ones that just made you laugh, but you didn't go home like doubting your things you liked and disliked. But I just rewatched the I told season 1, but that prison ship heist is pretty good too. So, and then me and Safi just yell, "Hey, that's Chris Bartlett!" every time Chris Bartlett's on screen.
We should come up with something for some of these shows. Did you ever see the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I have not.
Mm.
It has singing in it, right? Does it have singing in it?
Yes, of course.
See,
There's singing in it.
When I was like John's age, if anything had singing in it, I headed to. I never saw Grease. Like they started singing, I headed for the hills. Like I don't like singing in my. I'm a little better with it now, but I'm not a big singing in movies fan.
Star
Sound
Wars
of Music
has singing in it.
Huh?
Star
But
Wars
at the
had
end,
Katina band.
but-
It had Yo Yuzum.
but Return of the Jedi is my least favorite of those, and that has the most
Ooh.
singing.
Joe Yowza, I think his name.
That's a good point.
So
Carrie Fisher sang in the 1978 holiday special.
well, I wasn't up that late when that part came on. I was in bed. So, but I think Jake should shoot a fan film because Jake knows enough of us, and he lives in the Lancaster area, so we don't have to drag like when we drag Matt down from New York to shoot. Well, I know John, we got to drag you down here, but
Twist
Or we
his
just
arm the whole
need-
way.
we have to figure out a film we can film in about an hour when we're at Steel City.
Yeah.
Find who owns the mall and say, can we go down in your catacombs? Because like when I worked at the mall here, there's a whole system of catacombs because every store has like a storage room in the basement, and it's just cement hallways with these weird looking doors. And you could easily throw some stormtroopers running down those halls, and it would look pretty cool.
So you're saying you're going to go to Steel City as Vader?
Yes, if I'm actually ahead of where I thought I'd be, so
Okay.
yes.
And John, you're saying you're going to go to Steel City as Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
If I go, I could go as Kennex. What if we created a storyline where Vader, the grandfather, comes to me, the bounty hunter, looking through the mall to find his lost grandson?
They do, you know what? They do have a play area, one of those one
Like a
of those-
bouncy house ball
I
pit?
get a giant lollipop. Kennex is the social worker with scheduled visitation. We just get someone with a Han jacket to stand off to the side. Like you'll be the impartial, like
Yeah.
bringing his bag over to my car.
And we'd have to figure out ways that we can fit as many of the lines from the shows and movies as we can.
Well, the plus
So,
side
for
is we don't.
instance, so Vader comes to me looking for Kylo. I go out and find Kylo, but Kylo doesn't want to come with me. And so I say to Kylo, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold.
Well, what's nice is maybe we need to make a new kind of movie. We shoot the footage, and then we put all the clips up, and people have to put the clips in like a Mad Lib of a short video. So here's the 10 audio. Here's our footage, and people put the clips in themselves.
Oh, see, now you've kicked it up too many notches. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing about filming with Vader, Kylo, and Kenix, we can
We don't
put
have
all
any-
the sound.
Yeah, you don't have
no
to worry
one
about the
sees your
lip
mouth moving, you know. Just shake your head a little bit like Anthony Daniels.
hand gestures.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we all have like masks / helmets, so all the dialogue theoretically could be done in post.
well, Missy is adamant that I buy the voice changer for Vader.
You have to.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying that's how wonderful my wife is. Because most wives are like, "What? You're building a Vader costume? You're how old are you? 10? You know." But yeah, she's like, because she's trooped enough with people that the Vaders don't have a voice changer,
Mhm.
and like she can say it because she's not a member of the costuming group, you know. But she'll just say that's stupid. She's like, someone's standing in thousands of dollars with a costume, and they won't spend the extra $100 for a voice changer. She said that's stupid. So, and I have to, you know, I understand her
It
point.
also could be on the not the payment plan, but the progression plan. You got to level up.
Yeah.
So I got to pay for these parts, and then the next batch pays for these parts. And I'm very curious because Jake typed that he had some ideas for Star Wars shorts. What kind of Star Wars shorts do you want to throw out there for us to chat through, Jake? Any
Would it
of them
be-
that you're willing to share?
When I heard that, I was thinking of Boom Guy. I was thinking you in the shorts.
Well, I've got the shorts. I told
No,
you that,
but
right? I
you
bought
gotta
the
get
pink shorts.
You have to get the upgraded shorts that say the Unified Fandom Network across your ass.
I don't know if my ass is that wide to fit all of that on there.
we'll abbreviate for you. Well, no, but see, Jake, you should almost think of starting like a Facebook group, and just like that group I have where we get costumers, just jump in that one, and because we have guys that are antsy, like those days that we shot with Matt, and they weren't even exciting shots. We just stood there and walked. I had so much fun, you know, and we only used troopers. We would have had 20 more people there if he would have opened it up to different costumes, but he just wanted, like, you know, TKs and Imperials. I mean, we have, I forget the girl's name. She has a pirate Twi'lek, right?
Mhm.
Or a smuggler pirate. I don't know, but she wanted to do it. You know, she had, I don't, she was just, and like he messaged her and said, look, we don't need him right now, but and like I know, Jake, the bar that you shot Stray Ember in, we could cantina that up, and you could make a nice short with it, because he shot this one, and it was like a, I forget, it was like a bar. It would have been so cool for, I don't want to say too much because Jake's movie's not out yet, but when you see that movie and you see that bar, that would be like an awesome.
Could we do a scene from Cheers? Just Star Wars-ified?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, Jake, with that bar, you could almost do a series, like with what Ken said. Imagine Cheers set in the Star Wars universe. Because I got some masks. Look, I got these. I got 2 bar members right there, right up here. Those guys.
Yeah, with our combined skill, it's not too hard to make some background characters.
Yeah. We'll get one of Marty's Chewie masks and put it on make an Ewok thing for it, you know. But he also has the Bounty Hunter Chewie too from
The comic.
Yeah, the comic. He's the only Chewie in the 501st. At least he used to be. I don't know if he still is.
Well, I mean, just like with Saw Gerrera's Partisans, I mean, they took bits and pieces of different costumes. You know, I'm looking at the biker scout behind you, and they had a muddied up, blacked up biker scout, and he was a partisan. So,
well, and I rewatched when we went and saw it at the IMAX. Since I already saw it 100 times, I was doing that costumey looking thing, and those partisans, like I want 2 tubes.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do a 2 tubes or a 2 tubes variant. Well, Jake, I the only problem with having Zoe do the fan film is she worked like 60 some hours a week at Dutch Wonderland, so her fan film time was limited. So hopefully when I don't know. I'm at that point where I don't know if Zoe will be back, because when she graduates in December, if she has a job, then
Be where your feet are, man.
I will be sad.
We're still in September.
I will be sad and happy at the same time. It's a weird one. But yeah, I was looking at all those partisan costumes, and then we have, which John has near him. Man, my name went blank. The guy who does the big furry thing from Rogue One,
Tim O'Sullivan.
Tim O'Sullivan. He has that. He has the gunner from Rogue One, the little.
Well,
guy.
with those kind of
Yeah.
costumes, we just need the mannequins, and they can just sit in a corner. They don't
Yeah.
even need to be people in them.
Well,
They can just be...
a lot of his masks are animatronic, so you could literally have someone not in the costume run the masks. Plus, he has He is a Grogu that is better. It's probably the only Grogu better than his is the one they use on the show. So
That's true.
and he has C-3PO. He has Zero. Where's my Zero?
before the one.
Oh, I moved him over there.
God damn it, Ken.
He has, yeah, right. Or after the one if you have 10. He has Zero, a full Zero as well, because he's the one that sent me the eyes for mine. So
Now those are just mirror chromed, right?
they are vacuum formed, mirrored chrome somehow, because they're not 3D printed.
Mhm.
And because I was talking to him, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna send you some eyes." I was like, "Okay," because I wasn't making that for a costume. I was just making it for a display.
Yeah. So with mirror chroming, it's the same way people do the Spartan masks from Halo.
Oh, okay.
So it's clear vacuum formed plastic,
Yeah.
and you just you spray a couple really thin coats
okay.
of this mirror chrome spray paint, and you can
nice.
still see out of it, but you can't see into it.
Yeah.
You spray it on the inside of the visor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to probably keep from getting scratched up too.
Yep.
But I don't have a vacuum table yet, so
Keyword is yet.
Well, I'm trying not to take on any projects. I got to get my interior of my Falcon done, get that doorway done, and then I'm trying to be a good boy because I got way too many.
See, now you're going back to project time. We're in film
Sorry.
flim-flam.
Flim-flam, film flim-flam. All right, so okay. I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes, but yeah, 2 tubes. Yeah, the 2 tubes is where I would have to learn. I can make the mold for 2 tubes. They sell the file at 3 Demons. It's actually a pretty good one, but I have never done a silicone or latex mask. So, because I could do an easy split mold with one of them, but I'd have to learn how to do the latex or whatever the mask is.
Yeah, and I think for you, there's the project, and then there's the lesson of how to do the project.
Right.
So should you not be taking on more projects? You shouldn't take on more lessons than do a project.
Yeah. Well, I see, and I found myself that I learn. I like learning how to make something sometimes more than I like actually making it. Like I enjoy making. Enjoy making a mold sometimes better than I enjoy making the thing that comes out of the mold.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ark. Good luck on your assignments. I just saw that Ark's got some work to get done before midnight.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Thanks
I
for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thank you, Ark. I need someone to move like right next door to me. One of you guys that likes to finish stuff, and then I could just make it, and we could just have like a little box sitting on the porch. And
Is there a house for sale?
No. I can be an annoying neighbor enough to make it happen. That when I think my one neighbor used to get somewhat annoyed with me because in the summer I would lose track of time and I'd be out there with a grinder like working on like I fixed my father-in-law's truck and I looked at the time, it's like 3 a.m. I was cutting off what are they called, the universal joints, and putting them on the truck, sticking out of my garage, and I just didn't know what time it was. So I was like, I had to get it done. So
there's no clock. We got work to do.
Yeah. So
hey, I mean, if you're renting out your shed, I mean,
yeah, there you go.
I'll move in.
living
Well,
that
that
life.
shed's kind of like the TARDIS. I hear it's bigger on the
Yeah,
inside.
yeah. I'm waiting for John. I'm waiting 1 week. John is just going to say, "Oh, I'm moving to California."
Look, if the cost of living wasn't, 1,000% more than it is here in the good old OHIO,
Yeah,
I probably would. Like if
But
I lived in New York, I would probably just say, fuck it, I'm gonna move out to California.
But I from what I see from Zoe, like she's paying more because she's in a nice section. It's through the school, which when you hear through the school, you think, oh, it's going to be cheaper. It's not because they know they kind of have you. But I also think a lot of that cost is offset with what you get paid too, because like that one internship she looked at was like $35 an hour
Mm.
for the internship. You know what I mean? So, and a $4,500 signing bonus. So
Does it come with benefits?
I know. Well, but I'm saying the other thing is with the film industry, I think with some of, depending on your position, some of that's like 6 months off, 6 months on, or when you're filming, and so a lot of those people are a little more remote. Like it used to be, if you wanted to be, in there, you had to live right there. And I think I'm trying to learn that and not pressure my kid too much.
Yeah, you can't even get her to go to Magic Jump.
Yeah, I gotta get on that. I'll have to, again, it's funny.
You're not very good at applying pressure, Mike.
I am not.
I would not trust you with first aid.
I apply the pressure. I find myself worrying, just the overall parent worry of making sure she makes the best of all the little things that we've set that she's worked hard for since she, the best thing I do is listen to her old podcast and hear her and Lizzie talk about what they wanted to do when they grow up, and they've stayed on that course pretty good. Like Zoe went to film school and Lizzie went to CIA, one of the best cooking schools in the world. Plus, everyone gets confused and thinks she's in the CIA. So,
well, does she have top security clearance?
for whisks and frying pans, yes.
Okay.
Good. The important things.
No, but I mean, so it is kind of weird. Like Zoe she messaged me right before we started that she's podcasting Friday. She's podcasting with Sal at one point in time, and then she's podcasting with Lizzie. It's just funny that Lizzie's now on the East Coast and Zoe's on the West Coast. It's just pretty funny. And I'm trying to get her to podcast with Amando Merckx. But she doesn't listen to me. The podcasting, she's taken it on and does a really good job for the podcasting part. But she's not as forward as I am with asking people. So she's still waiting to hear back from the guy who got killed by Anakin, that guy. So that should be a good episode.
Master Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many of them. What are we going to do? That guy?
Yeah, that guy. I just rewatched that one too. That was on something. We rewatched that. I think it was on was it TBS that runs them all the time?
Often, yeah.
But I think
they used to do the marathons of them, right?
Yeah, we were at Marty's house. That's what it was playing, and they cut. It's funny how they cut some of the scenes though, so they fit into the time break. Like they sped up a couple scenes or something. It was just kind of funny. So that's our film. Let me just see if I have.
Well, did you guys have any other ideas for things that we could do in that hour's worth of time at Steel City, other than?
Well, I do think a behind the scenes trooping video that John had talked about before, like almost like a documentary style. I think that would be really good. There's
God, such a great picture.
So I do think like a documentary style too, of suiting up, just like almost like I would love us to walk around and do interviews with ourselves like right after we suit down, when you're still just, you know what I mean, like because
Well, it would be. Yeah, I think it'd also be fun to do it. Have someone filming us while we're in costume because
yeah,
there
no,
are
that
some
too.
moments that, like for instance, I mentioned the Airfest this weekend. I wish there was a way I could have recorded some of those exchanges with those little ones. You know, whether it was the kid who was super excited and came running over saying, "Hey, Mando," to the little ones who were a little bit tentative and then came out from behind their parents, and you know those kind of things. They're really really cool in the moment. Yet I have been unable to capture them as
Now,
they're happening, other than in the story that I'm telling you.
do you have your spear with you all the time when you're Kennex?
Yes, with the exception of when I was at the baseball game, because when I was
Right.
throwing hot dogs and T-shirts, I couldn't hold the spear and chuck wieners at the same time.
So here's my recommendation, honestly. That's a quote that's going to come back to haunt you. That's a sound bite we got to put with that's a TikTok sound bite right there. No, but you should think about your axe and think if you can mount a 360 camera in there. Because the 360 camera, it's if you take my phone, cut it in half. That's how wide it is, and it's like it's not as it's this much of my phone, half the width and just as thick.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like a camera. Like you could literally hide it on that. And the nice thing about the 360 camera, it just films 360 all the time. And then you can.
I had to figure out a place to mount it where the sword itself wouldn't get in the way of the.
Well, it would only get in the way where the sword is. It would shoot. It would. So say it takes up a half inch. You would be, instead of shooting 360, you would shoot 340 degrees. And then what's nice in the software is you can then, if you're standing there holding and talking, and you could then have it where it just focuses on you, or better yet, let's say when you're standing there talking, something really cool happens that you missed, but someone said, "Hey, did you see that kid just fall and spill a soda on?" You can then pull that same footage. Like it shoots it all. So you can later turn the camera at any time, multiple times. And I think because I've always thought if I could figure out how to mount the 360 on, like if I was my TK carrying a heavy blaster, just carrying it on my shoulder, I would just put the 360 right on the tip of the barrel and just let it shoot. If I knew I was going to hold my gun that way the whole time. And with you could probably, with your skill set, hide it in that sword, because it shoots 360 on top too.
Okay.
It shoots basically a ball, and then it actually shoots a slightly more than the computer stitches out the selfie stick, so it looks like it's following you around.
Gotcha. Like a probe droid, almost like kind of.
It looks like if you've seen a video of if you ever see a picture of someone riding a bike and it looks like a drone's following him.
Yeah.
Or they're jumping off a cliff and it looks like a drone's. That's just a 360 camera.
Oh, okay.
A lot of guys will put the selfie stick, because they're waterproof. They'll put the selfie stick on a 360 camera, and then when someone jumps off one of those cliff dives, they'll throw the 360 like a spear, with the camera at the back end, and it'll fall the same speed with it. And it looks like something's falling down. So there we go.
I already clipped it, by the way, just so you know.
Of course you did.
I had to. I'm sorry. That I don't know why that got such a good laugh out of me, but oh my
there
God.
are times where my mouth moves faster than my brain does. I apologize.
Oh my God. No, don't apologize. That is one of the funniest things I've heard all day. Bravo, Ken. Bravo. Quote of the week.
That's the name of this episode. Wiener Chucker.
Wiener Chucker.
Well, I am going to have to close mine out here soon, because I do have to somehow figure out how I can get this kit mailed and not get broken. That's my biggest fear. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop the stream here unless you guys have anything to say. But we did pretty good with our things. But thank you for those 4 people still hanging in there.
Yeah, it was awesome having all those folks,
Yeah, and
go
chiming
back
in.
and forth with us.
And if any of Jake, if you want, if when your movie's ready to come out, we'll gladly promote it here too, even though it's not Star Wars. If you're a
A
Star Wars
million
lover.
percent.
All right, let
And I
me
sent Nicholas a friend request.
Yes, awesome. All right, let me close this.